Hello, everybody. We are back for week 2 of play-ins for Aegis Protectors League. I am Colonel. Beside me is TDS, and we got the Super Friends versus Ashen Dynasty. This is a third seed versus a fourth seed. Both teams, are 1-0. Although Super Friends did get a bye last week, I'm really
Yeah.
excited for this match.
Yeah, it should be a really interesting match, even though Super Friends gets the bye from the last week because of circumstances that were out of our control. They are a team that looks interesting. They are a team that does bring some interesting picks sometimes, and I think they are going to be a really interesting match from Ashen, which looked really strong in their matches last week, and already starting with the Echo, which was buffed recently in the latest patch for the jungle. So I wouldn't expect if it's going towards the mid lane or the jungle yet. He does have a lot of flexibility right now, and I think it's going to be a strong pick.
So, as far as the team has gone so far, this will be their first Echo pick.
Yeah.
So we have no real info on what they've played before, which role, this Echo has gone. But Ashen, very much comfortable. They have picked a lot of the Ezreal, so if that does get locked in, it's not very surprising. A lot of the picks that we expect to be contested are still on the table, although Ziggs is one of them. The set of Braum and as well as the Thresh are all very highly contested for both these teams.
Yeah.
So we'll see if either of those do get pulled out. But there it is. Ezreal is locked and now hovering the potential Diana.
Yeah, the Diana and the Ezreal being secured here, not going for the contested picks that we were talking about previously, but I think it's still a strong picks. The Ezreal, a safe enough AD carry that it doesn't matter if you are behind in lane or anything like that, as long as you get to your power spikes, he's going to deliver in terms of damage and in terms of positioning as well with the innate positioning that he has with his E and the flash. And the Diana, which is a really strong team fighter, she did got nerfed in the previous patch, but she is still a really strong jungler overall. And with the nerfs to be able that he received this patch, I think right now there's a lot of A tier junglers, not a clear cut S tier, and it's going to be much more useful to get a lot of variety picks with the Diana, with the Echo now that is coming through, with Lee Sin maybe and things like that. And it's now Super Friends answering with the Thresh. We were talking about this, the contested picks. They went and take away the Thresh. I like the idea of taking away the Thresh. I think they can pair it here with an Aphelios or an Ashe. Those two really good champions, hyper carries, that even though they kind of worked in different manners, I think they still provide what you would like, that is a strong laning phase so that you can have control over the bottom side of the map. And the Braum as an
Absolutely.
answer.
Braum, again, one of those
Yeah.
expected high priority picks for both of these teams. So not surprised for this to be this important matchup in the slightest. But Ashe is actually a little bit interesting because although I am an Ashe connoisseur myself, I play it in solo queue. This is going to be the second game that we have seen of Moki on the Ashe. He has played more of the Aphelios, which is often paired with the Thresh as well. But they decide against that. Look
Yeah.
for high lane priority, especially against the likes of an Ezreal. Being able to push him in is really beneficial because remember, whatever support is paired with an Ezreal often has the ability to really roam anywhere else but bot lane because Ezreal can be so safe and farm from range. And with that prio, forcing him under tower, and the potential to even set up tower dives makes it a lot less comfortable for the Braum to be able to move around and really impact the rest of the map.
Yeah, and typically Braum, even though there's a lot of players that do like roaming around with the Braum, ideally he's not a champion that you typically see roaming around and wanting to place like a Leona, like a Thresh, like a Nautilus. So even though he does get possibilities or may get possibilities with the Ezreal, it's not his most ideal modus operandi. And I don't expect to see the Braum doing it, but maybe we do get surprised. I also think that with the Ashe picked up on the other side, they do have possibilities from the side of Super Friends to try and free up the Thresh so that he can roam around. With the extra vision that the Ashe provides and the safety and range that she has, she doesn't necessarily need to have the Thresh in lane, and instead can just allow him to roam around and try and help with the Echo and with the rest of the team. I think that's a possibility that we can see with the Thresh. Looking at the bans now, it's Cassiopeia LeBlanc for the side of Ashen. Surprising that it's going a lot on the mid lane, but we yet don't know where or what the direction from Super Friends with mid lane and top lane will be. So I think it's safe bans overall. And then it's Zed and Lucian taking away the set from Super Friends because we know the priority that both of these teams have for that champion, and being first pick, just denying it for Ashen. And the Lucian kind of an extra, especially now in this patch where he no longer can be a super viable mid laner. He can be played, but it's not as comparable as where he was previously.
Yeah, and also remember we were talking about that set for so long.
Yeah.
Although is mostly prioritized for Super Friends. Obviously, Ashen Dynasty also play it often, so not surprised to see that one. Silas is Best Boyo's only repeat champ. He has not been their consistent mid laner. He did not play nearly as many games, but two of those
Yeah.
were on the Silas. Now with the J4 lock in, a lot of early pressure, a lot of gank assist. And honestly, that does tell a lot of the plan for what Super Friends are going to be looking for. It's going to be a safe pick in the top side. If it is the Gnar, it is. And that will be Echo in the mid lane, our first time that we've seen it in the hands of Sly.
Yeah, and that was the main power of the fact that they didn't pick they picked the Echo previously because of the buffs. He can go jungler or mid lane. We talked about the flexibility, and that also allowed now to send the Jarvan. I think Jarvan to try and keep the Diana, and if they go for this Renekton pick, the Sylas and the Renekton in position, it's going to be really good. You also have a really nice combo with the Jarvan Gnar and the Echo as well. You have a lot of CC, a lot of instantaneous burst damage, and a lot of possibility to just try and explode the side of Ashen as quickly as you can. Ash is more of our support pick potential pick, supportive pick potential AD carry, and with the Thresh, you will have enough lockdown in case you want to burst out one target instead of going full on the team. So I think Super Friends has modes that they can work around with, but Ashen also has really good answers. They have really good team fighting potential with the Diana, with the Wukong, with the Sylas stealing crucial ultimates like the Gnar, like the Jarvan. And the Braum also provides that kind of supporting team fight. So I think overall both teams drafting close to similar, but I think Ashen went a little more ham into the team fight potential. Super Friends, the best of both worlds as much as they can do, but not super explosive on either side either.
I might disagree with you just a little bit.
Okay.
I think Ashen Dynasty, these champs individually are kind of hard to pilot, not. They can't be incredibly explosive because you have to be very meticulous with the likes of Silas, likes of Wukong. But when you slap a Silas, a Wukong, and a Diana together, I feel like it ends up just being press R and go ham.
Yeah.
I think because of them being paired together with the likes of a Braum who can also be supporting that big team fight engage, that they can really be incredibly aggressive and honestly a little bit just haywire. They don't really have to be too meticulous,
Yeah.
especially compared to the likes of Super Friends, where you're looking for that Ash arrow to hit. You're looking for Gnar to look up for his Narbar. So they have to be much more methodical in their approach versus Ashen, who just sort of can go for it.
Yeah, if you consider it like that, like it's easy to execute composition pretty much from the side of Ashen because, like you were saying, it's press R, go boom, and from the side of Super Friends, it's much more take your time, know where to go, be ready with the mega narbar, with the narbar close to full or full. Be ready with the Jarvan. You have to have enough vision to not fall prey to everything that they have. So I do agree that Super Friends has to be much more ready, prepared, and conscious about what the side of Ashen can do. And Ashen has a much more easy to execute composition. But at the same time, I feel like if Ashen ever misses with their ults timings or misses the utilization of their ultimates, they're going to be in the downfall in the longer team fights. I think Ash will be able to output that consistent damage. And Echo, even though he does rely on his cooldowns to a certain degree, he's a champion that can provide a lot as well with his mobility and his stuns. So I think that overall I would favor Super Friends if it turns into a super long team fight, much more so that if Ashen just goes in immediately and tries to burst out the team fight immediately.
Absolutely. I think in that regard, I would also probably say that Super Friends have a little bit more diversity
Yeah.
because while obviously they are looking for that more extended fight, they can also be very quick if it's just the one pick. If it's just the death sentence, if it's just the enchanted crystal arrow, then they can be very, very quick to just get a numbers advantage. But in the longer engagements, it's going to be very, very difficult to beat them. But if all the buttons get hit at the right time, it can be very, very powerful for the side of Ashen Dynasty.
Yeah, I think just having that safety net from the ace to execute composition is going to be good for Ashen. It's not super complicated, and it's not something that isn't expected either. And if you coordinate, and even if you don't coordinate it super well enough, but good enough that you can get 2 or 3 ultimates down from the bunch of ultimates that you have, it's going to be a really good possibility for your composition to win the fight. So I think Ashen overall has really good tools, has really good cards to be playing the team fight, and they should be able to execute. I feel like they are a team that should be able to pull it off. If they don't fall way too far behind in laning phase, which I don't think they should in mid lane, I think it's going to be pretty close. I would favor the Echo, and sometimes on the top lane, Nar should be able to push the Wukong to a certain degree, but at level 6, he's going to be able to answer back really easily. And bot lane, I expect it to be as neutral as possible, with Ash Thresh having a little bit of an advantage because of the range difference. But I don't expect to see a lot of early deaths, a lot of early kills, unless there's a lot of jungle interaction. And Diana is not a jungler that wants to attack a lot unless she before she hits level 6. She wants to power farm and go when she knows that she can get something certain. But she wants to power farm. Jarvan is going to be the main wildcard for me because wait. Okay, no, it's Jarvan mid and it's Echo jungle. Okay, this changes a lot.
They can trade. They can totally trade before
Yeah.
20 seconds or after or before it gets
Just in
down to
case.
20 seconds. I'd be really surprised if they leave it with Jarvan mid. I think that's just for fun. But
Yeah, but just in case it is, now this changes kind of thing. So now Echo is going to be as well much more of a power clear like the Diana. He wants to clear jungle, he wants to go for, because he wants to get his items as fast as possible. Jarvan, he can win lane and he has the methods to set up really good ganks, but I think it's going to be much more close with the Sylas than it was going to be with the Echo. I think anything can happen there if it ends up going for the Jarvan and the Sylas. But I think Echo is a better jungler overall because I think he gets much more power from not only ganking but going into his camps, which means that he can be overall much more powerful than what Jarvan could ever do in the jungle.
But I think that I would probably prefer the Jarvan jungle. I think Jarvan's ganks are just so powerful. He's just.
I think it's way better than Echo. Yeah.
Yeah, it could just do so much, and it can, especially for a team like Ashen Dynasty, where if the Wukong, if the Sylas gets behind, other than the Ezreal, if a lot of them get behind, it's going to be very difficult. I think the real question is whoever plays the Jarvan at the end of the day, which I very much expected to be jungle. The plays that they make and the lanes that they affect is going to either spell doom for Ashen Dynasty, or if he can't get anything done, could be the bane of his own team's existence.
Yep, I think Jarvan will still be the wildcard of the game. I feel like his engages, his cataclysms will be really important for winning teamfights. It seems that it's going to be an Echo and a Jarvan mid.
So
Okay.
I think they have to lock in before 20.
But it's 10 seconds in case something happens. It's 10 seconds left. So I think we're going to be having this. I think it's going to be the Jarvan mid.
I thought.
And the Echo jungle. And it is. I think it is. That's it.
Okay. I'm at a loss for Superfriends. I hope you prove me wrong. I think we're going to head into a quick break while me and TDS try and understand this one. But stay tuned for what looks like an incredible game. Hello, everybody. We are back and on to the riff for Superfriends versus Ashen Dynasty. This is honestly not to be expected, but we have a little bit of an answer on why this is mid lane. It is 220,000 mastery points on Jarvan for Sly. So definitely the better Jarvan player, and now. Stacking in the bush. Ronald really wants to walk that far, but he ends up not pulling trigger. We'll see. Tempting fate. Fortunately, they do not have the hook champ. It's the other side.
Yeah.
So if this was a Braum and the Thresh was in the bush, it'd be much more deadly. But it looks like he should be fine. And so other than the stack for protection against the invade, it should be a normal start for game 1.
Yeah, luckily nothing bad happening. They are able to just move back into their own base, going back for the minions. Nothing lost, nothing achieved, but at least they're trying to show a little bit of action early on, and that's what I'd like to see. I would have loved to see if the side of Super Friends tried to do something as well with the Thresh, but not a necessary risk. But Jarvan putting down a little bit of vision to get at least an idea of where Diana will start. He will know if there's vision on the if she goes for the birds, and it's really important this. Diana used the sweeper onto the red buff, which means that she will not know that there's vision down onto the birds, and that will be so good for the Echo to know where Diana is spotting without the Diana knowing that she was red.
Yeah, and she does walk straight into the chicken coop, so they will know exactly where she is and exactly which direction she is pathing, because they are both making their way to the bot lane scuttle. So keep your eyes out for how the mid lane as well as bot lane priority makes out. That's a great trade from the Silas. Sly has a lot of mastery in it, but that does not mean I'm convinced. He has a lot to prove to me, but so far keeping up in the CS, actually got himself a little bit of a lead, but taking a little bit of a beating in the process. Ooh, that's gonna be the hook going in. That's so much damage already. The ignite out auto.
Think he's dead?
He does have the heal. Is he gonna burn down? The last tick would have done it, but he does stay alive. And that is flash and heal traded for the ignite. Now some trading in the mid lane, but it should not come of anything.
Yeah, I thought the Ashe was going to flash to try and get the last hit, but just respecting it, I think in the next time maybe they can get the kill without actually going way too hard on that. But it's okay. They get 2 summoners. They get much more pressure now in the bottom lane, much more that they will have. And in the mid lane, it's the Silas trending really aggressively.
Oh, that's a knockup. Can he get the first blood? First blood to Silas with the Kingslayer, felling the Jarvan 4, and Echo was there. He was so close to arriving on time.
Flash.
He flashed for it as well, which is unable to. Now it's going to be the TP forced out of Jarvan, and because Echo went there, means Diana gets her first move onto the scuttle. Echo's going to try and fight him. It looks like, yeah, you're right. His bot lane is coming up, so that will force Diana away, and it is still alive. So he missed it.
Yeah.
But the play is there. We saw nothing. But
yeah,
it will be the scuttle secured, but still, that is the death.
Yeah, and every little bit of trading that happened on the mid lane went in favor of the Silas. We saw Silas utilizing the Kingslayer really well, try and get as much health back as he could with every bit of trade that he was doing. And the Jarvan never answered correctly to the Silas, ends up getting killed by the Silas in a solo queue 1v1. And it doesn't matter how many mastery points you have, if you die like that, I don't have a lot of trust in the Jarvan yet.
Absolutely, and he honestly, because now he has lost so much pressure, will find it very difficult to be able to make plays around the map, which is what I expect if you're putting a jungler in the mid lane. You want to do, you want him to roam, you want him to affect these side lane matchups, and with such an advantage put onto Best Royale, now it's going to be very, very difficult for him to ever win that priority to be able to do just that.
Yeah, he would ideally want to have the Tiamat to try and not push and then move around like you're saying. I think this works close to how Talon would like to play the game. But obviously you won't expect the Talon to get solo kill at level 3. It shouldn't be one of the things that would happen. Echo trying to set up. Okay, they bait the Kingslayer.
Oh, the beautiful abduct Rubscon to avoid that knockup.
You have to read the flash there. I think he can commit since the Silas doesn't have flash, so I think you can commit your flash to try and get the kill and try and get priority back to you into the lane, because right now it's just going to be harder and harder to outpush this Silas.
Yeah, it's going to become very difficult. It looks like he might even be forced.
He has to run away, yeah.
Oh, he has to back again. This is going to be so difficult for him. Now, I do want to point out that Wukong was able to walk into the topside jungle with Diana and get that ward. So far, its Jinja has been basically spotted on the majority of his travels through the jungle.
Yeah, they have been able to put pressure or at least mark on the Echo to follow him as best as they can, because they had the vision from the flash that happened on the mid lane, but after that, and the Scuttlecraft, but after that it wasn't that clear. They know where the Echo will be passing, I feel like, with the information that they have from the top side, because he has to come back into the top side. Most of his camps will be spawning there, and he has to then run back down. feel like the Echo will once again try and put a little bit of attention into the mid lane because of the super bad situation that the Jarvan is currently. But how I expected, both lanes in the bottom lane and the top lane, both side lanes, really quiet apart from the first attempt from the Thresh and the Ashe to kill the Braum. Nothing much has happened since, and Diana has just been constantly farming and farming what we expected from her pretty much. I think it's muted.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I am back. But J4 was able to get his first roam timer. Although it does not really result in much, his Thresh will be able to roam up to secure this first Drake. It is pretty early for the side of Superfriends. A Cloud Drake, pretty good, especially when you want your laners roaming around a lot. It looks like Sylas is pretty aware of it, but it should go over to Superfriends.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any chance of contest. We saw that Diana just finishing her red buff up in the top side. There shouldn't be any possibility to answer that Drake. The Herald is going to be the main play, but she is way too late. It hasn't even spawned. She was also way too late to try and go for an answering play, which means that she's now in the back foot to the Echo, and Echo is already here in mid lane. If they commit for the Jarvan, Echo should be able to...
he uses flag to secure the cannon, and now he's going to have to burn his flash. He's going to survive. He didn't get the stun! At the same time, Ginger survives! But he saves his mid laner by getting that parallel convergence. Beautifully done by the Echo, and Jarvan will escape with his life.
That was so close. I think it was one last hit to get the kill on the Jarvan, but really crucial the Echo away.
Oh, big hook. He's gonna get to play onto 2, but the counter engage with the Q is actually going to burn the heal and the flash out of the bot lane. So misreading the strength of these lanes, as Ezreal does have his Sheen already bought, and that burns 2 summoners for something that they started.
Yeah, and this time around we saw a really crucial difference to what happened previously at the level 1 with the skirmish in bot lane, and it was the shield from the Braum. That denies a lot of damage, and that means that when you think that you can actually get a really favorable trade, he can turn it around, and we saw it. As soon as the shield is out, they deny so much damage, the passive comes through, and instead is the Thresh that has to run for his life because he cannot answer anything. Oh, Gnar.
Transition, looking aggressive. Forcing out the Cyclone, he does have the ultimate.
There's
He's got
no
the flash. Is he able to do it? No, he's gonna get stopped. Oh, he's able to flash away. The Q lands, but Rare Candy escapes. Able to cancel the first try of the ultimate from the Gnar. And then by the time he was able to get it off the second time, Rare Candy had the flash to escape. Played that beautifully, and he will escape just burning a flash.
That was the second time that is way too close something happening. The Gnar went really well for the kill. He had the stun. He hit the stun after the clone came in, or the teleport.
Oh, the teleport. He had no idea it was coming, and Gnar is taking so much damage. He doesn't have his flash, and that's a solo kill to Rare Candy. Beautifully done, not being able to spot out that deeper ward in the bush, and he's able to get his kill after already starting to pull ahead in this lane. And that's a big problem for this Gnar.
Yeah, and the Wukong is a champion that can kill the Gnar if Gnar ever oversteps. It wasn't an actual fight, but it was the continuation of a fight. Gnar didn't have teleport, Wukong did, and that meant the kill. Oh.
Looking for play, they cannot find the knockup again, but now the hook's gonna get Death Sentence straight into the catapult. He's gonna use his ultimate. He's going to be able to escape, and now Diana is on her way. Jarvan may be in a little bit too deep, but that's a pullback onto the Echo. Can he escape? The damage coming through the play is there, but that's the damage regardless for Best Royal as he finds the kill. He will survive his mid laner as he will flag and drag his way over. Wukong was on the roam, but that is another kill, a third kill. Ashen Dynasty.
They couldn't burst the Sylas, and because they didn't kill the Sylas, he had time to get the Echo ultimate out, and that made him survive. Then the answer from the side of Ashen was so good. The Braum already coming up to try and fight or answer to whatever the Thresh wanted, and the Diana ready to pull aside. The Echo tries to run away, but the ultimate from the Diana comes in really well. She gets the pullback, and that just seals the fate from the Echo. Really great. I think overall, much more so than being aggressive and going for the round plays, it's Ashen answering perfectly what Superfriends wants to try and achieve.
Yeah, and now Ashen has gotten 2 kills onto their Sylas. He is down about a wave of CS, but he has no care in the world as when he's gonna back. I think he should be able to finish his mythic item only 11 or 12 minutes in. We'll see when he's able to complete that. Loki gets some damage across, but actually, his Jinja has got his way all the way down into this bush. The hook is going to land. The arrow does not,
failed.
but Jinja still has the damage
He should
across.
be
Can
dead,
they get the
I
kill?
think.
Yes, it will be. Now the trade. Can they find yet another one? No, but the counter engage onto the top side. Brandon Shinshin's going to take so much damage. He will fall. And now Jarvan does in a little bit too deep. He's going to get pulled back by the moonfall. Can he escape this one? Cataclysm, his own spell against him. Double kill going over to Diana.
Yeah, I don't think he could escape there. Even if he uses his own Cataclysm, he would end up dying. So really good play by Ashen to answer what happened on the bot lane. I like the aggressiveness from the Echo to go for a lane gang, especially after we have seen so consistently bot lane being able to push the wave and have priority there. But not much of a... They didn't look much into the bot lane, but now they actually go and commit for the play. But it doesn't matter on the other side. 3 members strong in the top lane. The Jarvan tries to answer with the teleport, but it's not enough. He's not that strong right now. Dinar dies instantaneously, and it's just an easy kill for them.
And now this mid jungle 2v2 for Ashen, Hybrid Carry and Best Boyo are so powerful. They both are going to be menaces as the game progresses. And remember, we talked about this team being the team that wanted to get ahead early, that wanted to have that early gold so that they could go in, just sort of press all their buttons, press all those R's, and just blow up Superfriends before they're ever really able to come back. And now they have the exact lead that they wanted.
Yeah, this is really important for them. I think that coming into mid game, they want to ideally have this kind of lead to force the fights and utilize their press R composition to the fullest.
That's the bite gonna find its mark on the 3. And now, actually, he might have given up his life as well, as the Cataclysm will buy him some time. He flashes, but the damage is there. Hybrid Carry is getting the autos in. Fly. Can he get escape? The flag and drag. That's really well done. Yes, he will. He will be able to escape. His support still dies, but he's able to save his own life.
Yeah, and trying to get vision down from the side of Superfriends. They are trying to gain something in the map, but especially to fight this Drake, but they don't have any kind of control. They are really far behind on the mid lane. They don't have top lane turret, which means that Wukong could be answering anywhere. And in reality, bot lane pressure that they have no longer matters that much, because Ezreal is just doing what he wants, farming safely and allowing the Braum to move around. So even though the Thresh does the same, the Braum is also there to respond, and I think that's much more important to try and keep getting the advantages from Ashen.
And that they will, as they also get this Drake. Now, if we take a look, CS has been a quiet conversation, but Silas has gotten himself a decent advantage, a 20 CS advantage in the mid lane. And Ashe, to be expected against the Ezreal, although he is very happy to just farm it out and stack his gear.
Yeah, he just needs to get the Sunder to the Sunder point, and I feel like that's pretty much what you want with the Ezreal. Sunder, Muraman. I think those two are the most important items. Oh wait.
Fly is going to be ganked from 5-man bot. He has a flag and drag to get the stun. He will be hit by the winner's bite, and that's slow. Can they get the stacks for the stun? No, they cannot. Diana was not close enough. Now, Rare Candy is going to get ganked as his Jinja is there, forcing out the Cyclone. The knockup is there, the second one, and now burning the flash, saving it for so long. Able to escape to his team. He will escape without death.
Unless...
Now it may be actually Ashen who's on the offensive. This Jinja takes a lot of damage. He has the knock. Oh, beautiful from Best Boyo. He will take so much damage. Double kill going over to the Diana, and honestly, the pedal just does not stop.
Yeah, we've seen 2 plays back to back where it seemed like both them in the mid lane and in the top lane they wanted to get kills, and it ends up going to the side of Ashen. Oh wait, yeah, no, they have a ping. It shouldn't be that bad for them as well. But yeah, the mid lane play doesn't end up working. Credit to Sly, because I feel like he played that as well as he could and he survived. He committed the flash, but it was okay. On the top side, it was close to being a kill for the Wukong. But then the counterplay, I think because the Silas is so far ahead, even if they fail once, if they keep moving as a unit, they can go for much more plays, and we saw that.
Cataclysm on the 3, but he's taking a lot of damage. I was going to go back in, but stalling for his Jinja to arrive. He will save his power, trading a good amount of his HP as well as his ultimate for it, but that will force them back.
Yeah, Silas going back in after he was able to run away, has to use his flash to escape, but yeah, nothing much happened. I feel like Sly is trying to make something happen, or at least a play happen with the Jarvan, but realistically he doesn't have enough power or enough positioning in the map to be able to pull it off. And right now we're seeing how badly the Jarvan can be when he's not in an advantageous position, or at least being able to push the wave. And that's also why the Jarvan is not typically seen in the mid lane, because if he's not winning the lane, it's super hard for him to actually impact the map. And that's what he wants to do.
Yeah. Now, honestly, there's so much game left to be played. Getting some damage, but actually, Cyclone back on, and the second one is Shreddy charging Moonfall straight into the second Cyclone, and hybrid carry on a Rampage, 4th kill to their name, and this Jarvan leaving so much to be desired.
Yeah, the shining light right now is the Ashe, and the first person agree, but much more so the Ashe low. Vespoyo.
Caster Curse. Vespoyo is on his way here. The Ashe Arrow to try and stall, but he's gonna get rooted up straight into the Ashe Arrow. Oh, you can't play the game! Flashing just to die regardless. And that is disgusting from Vespoyo as he finds his 5th kill of the game.
I just had to go and say that the Ashe was the shining hope for Superfriends. Like you're saying, I just cast the curse.
So real.
Yeah. But it's really nice movement by Vespoyo. He's doing what the Jarvan wants to do, but better right now. He's moving around the map. He's trying to use his pressure to impact the map. They get the turret from Superfriends at least, so it's a bit of gold funneling back into them, but in reality they are so far behind. The composition that wants to be able to play the mid game really strongly, force fights and fight, it's so far ahead, and the next raid is coming up in 1 minute. They should be not only super strong, but there shouldn't be any real contest from Superfriends, because if they overstay and misplay the fight, it's going to balloon into an even larger lead. I feel like this Drake, they can give it up and try and get it stronger for later Drakes and maybe the Baron.
And I do want to point out before a potential fight starts that Ashen is the 4th seed of Shurima. They are the weaker opponent, but now finally getting the catch of their own. So much damage straight into parallel convergence, and Braum cannot outplay that one. But now potentially corralled in as the Echo ult actually going to be stolen from Vespoyo. Now the hook is going to land onto the Cyrus, but he has saved the ultimate. Now as the damage coming across, can the Narbar help? He's going to get some damage, but Echo is here. Shutdown goes onto the Ashe, and Ginger trying to escape, but Diana will chase him down. Diana getting herself a double kill as the team starts to run away, and Superfriends will fall 1 by 1. Loki and his mid laner are the only ones alive. Mid laner still in Fountain after dying. Loki, I don't know if you want to drive for that one, and he will go back, but that is 3-13. Ashen Dynasty on a rampage.
Yeah, and the pick from the side of Superfriends was really good. They get the first pick onto the Braum and are able to move into Drake, but they use a lot of cooldowns to get that pick. And then when the side of Ashen wanted to answer, like we were saying, they are so strong, they corralled Superfriends, and as soon as they just went in, Diana ultimate, Wukong ultimate, Sylas dies, but he gets so much damage out, and I think that's the most important part. Even without the Braum, their combo is still there, and they can just execute it really well. Also, they force the teleport out of the Gnar, which I think is really important, because now they cannot send the Gnar bot side, and they can put someone strong to deal with the Sly, which is not strong enough himself, and I think that can be impactful in terms of split pushing for the side of Ashen.
Absolutely, and what I was trying to say before was that Ashen is the 4th seed out of their group. Hybrid Carry is not going to let me finish my sentence. Ashen fly back, Moonfall will land. Ronald Me is falling so quickly, he will fall. Hybrid Carry getting the kill as he goes godlike. Wow, he is absolutely monstrous. Now 7-0-3 on this Diana. We'll see. It's Ginger may want to try and make a play here. He is spotted out. That's a stun regardless. They will get it straight into the Narbar. He is stunned, locked, cannot play the game. Vespoyo will fall. Now Jarvan finally getting his chance to look aggressively. He will look Cataclysm straight onto 2. He will get 5-man bot. There's so much damage onto the Braum. He will fall. Teleport forced out as well. Superfriends finally find their fight, and they get 2.
Yeah, they are able to respond to what Ashen wants to do. They went for a 1-3-1 to try and put pressure on the sidelines with the Sylas and with the Wukong. The Sylas gets a little bit too over-committed to go for things. And the funniest thing is that he knew that Echo was there. I think if you just try and run away, you probably escape. But he wanted to try and go for an outplay, and it ends up being his doom. They get a really nice collapse onto the Sylas. They CC him to death, like you were saying, and he ends up dying. They also force the teleport out of the Wukong, which means that split pushing wise, I think they have to trade sides with the Wukong, because without teleport, the Wukong cannot go and support a Baron fight in case it happens. And Superfriends, they are able to take down a Baron, not super quickly, but they have enough damage to try and burst it out in at least 15 to 20 seconds, which I think should be long enough against a Wukong that has no teleport.
Great point now, Sly. I don't know if you really want to be here. He's going to be spotted out with the ward. Flag and drag. He's safety, but the damage is there. Moonfall comes across. Can he get to the lantern? He can. And the Death Sentence will make sure that there is no follow-up. So Jarvan bursts it out. Does that damage mean they turn on Baron? It does. They will try and burst it. Jarvan does not have teleport. He cannot join the fight. Ash spots that out.
Nar neither.
Hawkeye. But Nar is still on bot side. He's walking down, and Baron is already half down. The Death Sentence is going to land. Can they find the pick here? They will get the play. That's the turn, but Jarvan's going to look in on the low HP anyway. And the counter Cataclysm is massive. They all line up, and that's the damage coming across Cyclone onto 2. Double kill for Rare Candy. Beautiful team fight for Ashen Dynasty, as they will all fall. 3 quick kills. Now they can go straight back to back.
Yeah, and we were talking about how the Wukong didn't have teleport, so maybe Superfriends could look into a potential Baron take, but Nar didn't have it either. And as soon as his light goes down, before the fight, or when he goes so down in health, without teleport like you were saying, they can go and look into the Baron. Wukong was also backing, which means that he was closer than the Nar in terms of distance, and even though the Nar runs as fast as he can, Wukong gets there first. They win the fight so decisively, and this means the Baron as well. They are now in full position to be able to just keep on running forward and win this game.
Almost a 6,000 goal lead and counting for the Baron power play, able to even explode that further. I guess he just didn't want the lantern. But what I was trying to say at one point, I never got to it, but Ashen Dynasty is the 4th seed of their group. Shurima was talked about as being one of these most powerful groups, maybe the group of death. And as a 4th seed, really stomping the 3rd seed, they're showing just that. The hook is going to land.
I don't know about this.
And now the stun. Oh, that's a beautiful stun on his Jinja. And he may be caught, but they are able to disengage. But Ashen Dynasty making a great showing for themselves.
Yeah, showing that certainly Shurima is a group that has to be feared. A lot of the teams have been surprising and have taken interesting wins, so oh wait.
Ooh, hook barely going wide, and now the counter engage onto... this feels like deja vu. Rushing to the exact same spot, the damage coming across. Vader gets his 3rd kill of the game with that Q over the wall. And now with the numbers advantage, I don't know why Superfriends are looking aggressive here. The Ash Arrow does land, but you still have a numbers disadvantage. You cannot look for a fight here. They are trying to force for this Narbar, but this Drake is only Drake point. It is not Soul, so they will finally back up. But now Ashen may look for the fight themselves. Rare Candy will be engaged upon. He's taking the damage. Cataclysm onto him. Can they get the catch? The team is trying to come to arrive, and they will get the flash as well as the Cyclone out of him. Radio of ultimates, but that is the Drake secured for Ashen Dynasty.
Yeah, really good use of the flash stir fry by Rare Candy to survive. He didn't need to be in that position, especially because he could have just go and pushed a wave to get much more value out of the Baron buff, but they secured the Drake, which I think is the much more important prize. And funnily enough, Ashen hasn't pushed their advantage that hard. Sly, I think he can get away. Yeah, I think it's away. They haven't pushed their advantage that far with the Baron buff, but I feel like they are still in such a comfortable spot. It's just 24 minutes into the game. They have a close to 10,000 gold lead. I think it's 7,000 if I'm not wrong, and they can just keep on trying to push. They have an Israel as well, which means that their siege is not that bad, and they can just use the poke to try and take them turrets and then force a fight if they want to.
Absolutely, and honestly, Ash is still decently strong, 3-2-2. She is farming up well, has a big CS advantage, but Ash is not that kind of carry that can 1v9 a game. Echo is, though, as he's going to look for the damage onto Rare Candy. Nar coming in, he does get the stun. That will be the kill. Nar slams him into the wall for a shutdown. And that will be the 7th kill of the game for Superfriends, and still showing that they do have something.
Yeah, they are going for the trace away.
Oh, the damage! Ivory Carry blows him up. 0-5. 220k mastery points does not save you from inting every other game. And now, trying to defend their base as the inhibitor is getting low. That is going to be Chrono Break for the Silas. Now we'll see if the trigger gets pulled. It is a 4v4 on the map. Day 4 is ready when he comes in. He does have the teleport if they come in, but looks like they will give up the inhib and then disengage.
Yeah, as long as Ashen gets the inhibitor, I think it's better for them to just disengage Baron. I think it ran out already, and the Wukong was just coming up. I think they just want to back, get their gold spent since they already have so many. And Diana, that is already one shotting Jarvan, will get much more stronger right now. We are having this conversation about which do we think can outscale between the Echo and the Diana. I think we both agree that the Echo should be stronger if it reaches a point where it's 6 items. But right now it's Diana with 1.5 items more than the Echo, so I think there's no question.
Oh,
wait.
That's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but does not being there fast enough. And to be honest, Silas was really, really safe. He still had the flash, he still had a stopwatch. I think it's going to be very difficult to pick that spoil. There are other options. I think the Wukong that they did go for did look very good when they tried to catch that, or the Braum that they did sit in a bush for, but Silas is going to be very hard to pick like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's either Silas or the Ezreal. I think even Diana can be an interesting pick to go for if you have enough lockdown. Oh wait, I'm talking about Diana.
Diana doing so much damage now. The stun's still going to land. That's the ultimate as well, just to get her down to half HP. But now the damage coming across with the J4 arriving. He will get the Cataclysm across. Dead? Finally shut down. Will fall, but Echo is dead as well. Double kill going over to Gator, and now they have to run away. Silas looking in. He will find the engage, setting up the team, but he will not be able to look for anything more. Out trying to go into stopwatch to save his own life, and he will, but Narbar is charging. Do they want to look for more? Looks like no, they will be happy just defending this mid lane tier 2.
Yeah, so good news for Super Friends. They get the shutdown on the Diana, so at least they are getting a lot of gold funneled back, but they once again lose the fight. It's 2-for-1, and it could have gone even worse if they do commit a little bit harder, but the Silas was below 50% health, so it makes sense to just deny her. But slowly but surely, Super Friends, even though it's still just a 27-minute game, the gold lead is still there, but they are trying to claw themselves back. And I feel like picks like this, where even though you lose one more member, but don't lose anything much more important in the map, are really valuable for you and are good enough to try and put you back into the game. There's 3 items on the Ashe, there's 1 item on the Jarvan, there's 2 items on the Echo, and 2 items on the Gnar. I think they can try and fight this Drake, and they probably need to.
Oh my deja vu, 3rd time's a charm. He will get picked again. Gator Crunchy over the exact same wall, now dominating. I swear 3 of these kills on the Ezreal have been against this Thresh. As he does fall for the 6th time. But TDS, I do have a question for you. Actually, hold that thought.
Wait.
See if they do look for the catch that will force the flash out. But he's turning. He does have the Gnar ultimate for himself now, stealing that away. The team is arriving at Arrow just to stall time. But oh, the Stunlock Ash! Oh, you hate to see it. Second kill goes over, and it is just Gnar running away. Will try and make his escape. Hybrid carry is here, no flash on her, but the moonfall does miss. Able to jump away from that. He is slowed, but Limiter's Bite does not land either. Looks like offline efficient will be able to escape. Jarvan was pushing on the top side, but he has to back. They're looking for the end. They're looking for the turret, and that's Jarvan looking in onto the team. But the Bravo trying to stall time. They are grouping up. They are low, but not enough members right here. They still have only 2 members. Gnar taking a lot of damage. That's just Gnar ult, but will he get enough? No, Jarvan does fall. The HP bars are way too low. It looks like Ashen Dynasty could be sealing the deal here. Trying to get a pick on the Braum, but that's Nexus being open. Parallel convergence, and it comes down. The stun hits just one. But Ashen Dynasty kill the Nexus. That is what the goal is, and they just could not defend it at the end of the day. Getting themselves such a big advantage. I have to give them so much credit for how they played that early game. And honestly, credit where credit is due. You tried to come back, Super Friends, but Ashen was just the better team in game 1.
Yeah, I feel like it's a combination of the gold lead being so in favor of Ashen, as well as the fact that they were playing much more aggressively as a team, because I think one of the key points that we noticed after the laning phase happened was the Thresh. The Thresh was getting picked out constantly, and it's one of those things where it's fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me thrice, what am I doing here? And he constantly kind of did that without having the support of his team, getting picked out and costing them in Drakes. Because it was before the Drake spawn that he ends up dying, and because of that, they cannot commit much harder for the Drake fight. And I think that happening so consistently, as well as even though Super Friends were looking for picks, the side of Ashen almost always kind of was better as a team. If you look at the times where they were going to fight or things like that, there were much more members ready to answer for everything they wanted to do than the side of Super Friends. And I think that made a lot of difference apart from the goldie that they had previously.
Absolutely. I think just playing as a complete unit, Ashen Dynasty, they were always on the same page. And Super Friends, I think there were some bright points. I think with a different draft, I appreciate the attempt on the J4, but ending I think 0-7 did not have the showing that they hoped.
Yeah.
But they had the right macro ideas. They understood how to attack the 1-3-1 to force onto the side lane, and they were able to do that twice. They were able to get some picks, so they showed signs of life. And I think with a different draft, with a better early game laning phase for these solo laners, I think it can be a much more competitive game, and we might have ourselves a series.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we are going to head to a quick break before we go into game 2, but stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Hello, everybody. We are back for draft for game 2, Ashen Dynasty versus Super Friends. That was a very strong showing from Ashen Dynasty, coming straight out of the Shurima division, one of the groups that we expected to be very strong. There are a couple things to be aware of. First of which being the substitute in for support for Super Friends, as well as a ban loss for Super Friends for tardiness. So fortunately for them, they will be still trying to force us into a game 3, but very much an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's going to be hard without a ban, but I feel like more so than the bans, they need to adapt their draft. We were talking a little bit about this. I think if they have a much more equal fighting power in game, they maybe pull it up. Because, that would be the first ideal point. I think I think picking red side this time around, and we were talking about this, it's really good because it gives you the opportunity to either go for a counter pick for your mid laner so that he can have a really good time, or go for a safe pick in the mid lane that it doesn't matter how badly he goes, he will be valuable later on, and give a counter pick for the strong players of your team. We saw really good things out of the top laner from Super Friends. He was close to getting solo kills, pressuring top lane, and the same from the jungle. I feel like Super Friends jungler had a good showing. He was doing important plays here and there. I think that if he gets a much more advantageous matchup in the jungle, then maybe he can pull off something else. But I feel like because the Diana was able to snowball so high, it was hard for the Echo to be able to have much more impact.
And TDS, I would honestly go to say the same thing about Moki in the bot side. I think Ashe looked really good. I think the only sour spots for us was J4 not having the best showing, which I don't want to flame him too hard. If you go behind in a matchup like that with an experimental champion like that, it's very hard to come back. So no, I don't want to blame him too hard. But also, fortunately, a lot of mispositioning from the support. I think that was the big glaring issue for me is how often I think 2 different times of deja vu from seeing it 3 times of getting caught in the exact same part of the map. Other than those mistakes and maybe a different mid lane pick, I think this could be a very competitive game.
Yeah, I feel like Super Friends have clear things that they need to correct to be able to have a much clearer shot into winning the game. I feel like they can correct this not only in draft but in game, and I feel like if they do these things, we are going to have a series, not only a much competitive game, but I feel like they can take the game and go and have a full series 3 game. They banned this time around the Diana from the set of Super Friends, and 6 is open now. Ashen instantaneously picks it. This is one of the champions that we were talking about, which was contested. So it makes sense that they go for it. Now we need to see if Super Friends wants to stay with certain picks, wants to go for newer picks. The set was banned in the previous game. Maybe we do see it in the first 3 picks this time around to try and have an instantaneous go into that top lane and a champion that they favor much more. And it seems that Varus is the answer for the 6.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to pair with it. Just to remind you guys, at least our predictions, the Ziggs, Set, Thresh, and Braum are very popular champs for both of these teams. Obviously, we saw both of those support picks in game 1, as well as
the other 2 banned.
Yeah, we did see both of them banned as well. Volibear is the lock-in for Super Friends. Very much expect that to be jungle. But there's always the possibility, especially after game 1, for it to go basically wherever the hell it wants. But the real question, for me at least, is where are they going to be, or excuse me, what are they going to be putting next to this Varus?
With Varus, I feel like Braum isn't that bad of an option. You have good trading patterns with the Braum. You can proc the passive in lane really well because of the of taking the Hail of Blades, which does it does synergize with the passive from the Braum really well. The Braum is taken away now. The other option can be the Thresh. He can work as he would like with an Amphibious or with an Ashe. I think just having that save possibility there, it's a good idea. It's not that bad. Or you can have a lane dominant partner with the Varus, something like the Karma. I won't say the Ludo because I feel like Ludo with Lethality Barriers is not that great. But with the Karma, I feel like you do get the movement speed burst, and you also are able to support your team much generally than you get, and we get the Braum as well. So
I don't know. I'm a prophet.
Yeah.
What can I say? But Braum taken away from the potential pairing for the Varus, as well as the Trundle. I do like the Trundle pick. I think actually both Trundle and Volibear are, while they're not the most practiced,
There's the Karma.
are pretty powerful for both teams. And wow, TDS, we're on a different level. Predicting the Karma as well, locked in next to the Varus as well.
Yeah, we just expected this. We already saw the games. These are not live. We already know everything. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but yeah, they do pick the Karma. I do like the Karma here. I think it provides a lot of support for the Varus, and it's also a really great pick for champions that do want to try and engage, because you give them that extra oomph that sometimes they may miss, and they don't need to commit the flash to get on top of a target. So I think the Karma here with the Bolivar may be well paired. We see now a Gangplank ban coming from the Superfriends. I think this is in case they go for the last pick the last pick top lane, to not give away a safe counter pick in the top lane like the Gangplank that a lot of people favor to pick blindly, and they can play well enough. So I feel like this makes sense as we're looking here. Now we need to see if there's going to be a ban for the set that in the previous game was denied. It's an Asir now.
To be honest, I would see the real question. What this says to me is that if they're banning away a really easily blindable top side for Rare Candy, that is the Sylas. So the question is, which lane will Superfriends prioritize as having that last pick?
Yeah.
We disagreed on this. I would think that off-brand Ashen looked very good. I think he was very, very close to getting a solo kill. So I might have maybe I'm a little biased by the 0-7 Jarvan, but I have a tiny bit more faith in the top laner to have that R5 counter pick. But you said that maybe it'd do them better to get a more powerful mid lane composition.
Yeah, it's good to place your hopes on Henshin, and they end up doing it. I think Slide wouldn't be a bad idea, because I think giving your weakest player a comfortable matchup is not a bad thing either. But this is also the option that I thought could be ideal, giving a safe matchup for your player. Even though Victor is not one of the most big champions right now, he fell in priority a little bit in comparison to where he was previously. I think Victor is a good champion to try and just wave clear, stay safe, and reach a super strong later stage of the game, which I think it's probably what Superfriends want to do with this. They have a strong bot lane that can have a lot of priority. I think Bolivar will want to play over there, and with the last pick, if he does end up going with the set, I think you will also have another strong side lane to try and punish the set with the Bolivar. So I think overall, having a safe mid laner that doesn't require a lot of resources, it's going to be really good for Superfriends.
We're just prediction gods. The set locked in as well. I mean, that is also the Lucian mid. I'm a little bit interested by this.
I don't like it.
I don't really like it either. I understand the reasoning.
Will he do it?
I need to hold my breath for a second. Oh my god, I'm really excited. Okay, I'm very, very excited to cast an Alawi. And again, just like we were talking about before, putting some faith in off-brand Ashen to really be able to flex his muscles in the top side. For the Lucian mid, I do understand the rationale, especially now considering you do have an APC Ziggs. Having an ADC in the mid lane makes more sense there than elsewhere. I'm still not going to say I'm really a fan. I just don't think it's honestly that powerful. It's basically just a culling bot. Is how I tend to think of it. It's just what can you do with your R? That's really what you amount to after that early landing phase when you have a lot of a lot of potency, stacking your passive and going ability double auto to get a lot of damage. But after level 6, all that matters is your R.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, and especially now that you get even more stacks into or more shots into your ultimate, I think that it makes much more sense to consider it an calling R from the Lucian. One thing that I do want to say is that I love that you bring the 6 point, because it made me think maybe they just send the 6 mid lane. Because it's against a Victor, you don't have to be that worried about the Victor. You can just push the lane consistently, ping pong, and then send the Lucian bot lane to try and win the lane. At least there you can make much more use of the new Lucian rework, which it's centered around having a partner with you so that you can get buffed and use your power much more. So I think in that regard it would make sense, but I still don't feel like the Lucian is a pick, because if he falls behind, he will be so useless. Like previously, at least he kind of could work by himself and would be a strong 1v1 in certain scenarios. But right now, if he's not as strong but with 2 champions, he's not going to be strong alone. He's not going to be strong with the rest of the team, because there's no other real champion that will be able to proc his passive and be useful with the Lucian. So it's going to be an uphill battle for the Lucian. But I think at least I like the idea from the side of Ashen to just go all in with the Lucian, go full strong, win the early game, and try and keep the same identity that you have in the previous game of being super strong in the early, super strong in the mid game, and win through there.
Yeah, and honestly, you saw how well that worked in game 1. It was honestly kind of disgusting that Ashen can blow out of this group as the fourth seed and really to just manhandle Superfriends, who came third in theirs. So honestly, I think that this could be maybe one of the few teams where I would potentially have faith in the idea of this Lucian man.
That is true. I think they have shown at least that they can pull it off. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be the Lucian mid now that they have picked. So I do want to see if it ends up working or not. I don't like it, but I certainly don't have enough evidence yet in this meta and in how he plays to not be at least hesitant to know if he will do well or not. So I will wait and be proven wrong.
So I don't mean to put all of Ashen Dynasty on blast, but they did play almost this exact same team composition a week ago. The only champion that's different is Trundle in for the Viego that they played against Jungle Kitten Collective on the 19th. So very, very comfortable playing this almost to a T. I don't think the Viego changes exactly how you play this kind of fight. You're still looking for the same engages with Braum. You're still looking for this Ziggs to become powerful. And don't want to spoil the script, but Gator Crunchy did go 5-2-10 in that game. He had a 700 gold advantage at 15. He popped off. He had almost double that at 25. He exploded his lead. And unfortunately for the best boyo, the Lucian didn't look nearly as good. It had a minus 41 at 15. But the combo between the two of them looked very, very powerful. And they won that game in only 26 minutes. So maybe Ashen Dynasty has more
so
to
what
this
you're
competition
saying
than we see.
Is 2-0.
What I'm saying is there might be a 2-0. Yes. We are going to head to a quick break. Stay tuned for the exciting potentially conclusion of Ashen Dynasty versus Super Friends. Hello, everybody. We are back straight into game 2, and Ashen doing the bot side invade. I love this invade. You are so hard to be spotted. Now they are going to be shown, but they are again on Braum, so they do not have that hook jump to get the pick, but forcing them out, get the deep ward that will be immediately traded. So Super Friends do have their top side all running into Collectivision. So it should be just a trade of wards, although Super Friends did also use a ward on the bottom side. So forcing that ward out of the ADC could potentially lead to a gank opening on the bot side.
Yeah, it's just a 1-for-1, but they do force the ward out of the burst. I think that, like you're saying, that can be important, especially to try and play around vision from the bottom side. I think the Trundle would like to go to bot lane to try and create a little bit of pressure early on, especially if he starts top side. He's starting from bottom side, which means that he probably wants to clear and go help the set, put Ilaoi behind us as much as possible, probably 1 or 2 ganks, and then come back into the bottom lane with the 6 and with the Herald. I feel like to try and blow the turret up and then begin moving around the map with the 6 and the Braum.
Should I hope you were taking notes because he just gave you the perfect plan of action, but. So far, that is just clearing their way up. Volibear is doing the exact opposite. Oh no, Ziggs only got one of those CS.
Yeah.
But Volibear is doing the opposite. He will be making his way to the bot side. Just some trading in the mid lane should be pretty even. But we'll see what Ginger can do in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think the Volibear, he has a lot of other plays that he can base in. I think he's trying to go for the side that will have a lot of pressure early on. That is the bottom lane. Varus Karma should be able to push the Braum 6. Like we're seeing a lot of damage going down, level 2 hit before, and they are able to push this wave. So I think that's why the Volibear is batting bot side. And then when he gets his first back, he's going to try and provide much support for the Ilaoi to try and put the champion as far ahead as possible and leave her alone to do what Ilaoi can do best.
Trundle, look at the top side, already making his way to gank. Shinshin pulled back from the set, still waiting on the pillar, a lot of damage, waiting until the flash. Beautifully done by Hybrid Carry, has the chomp. Can he get the damage? No, he cannot. Able to escape off Shinshin, only burns the flash, very, very close to falling. Should also force out the teleport, but still a successful game for Hybrid Carry.
Yeah, and kind of what we expected to see from the bottom side star, it was to put this kind of early pressure onto the Ilaoi. He ignores 2 camps, so it's not a complete full clear, but that means that he has access to the Ilaoi. Now the Ilaoi without flash, against a Zed and a Trundle, if you get a repeat gank, it should be 100% a kill. I'm just going to nitpick on something here from Hybrid. He could have, I think he cancelled one of the auto attacks to try and get closer to get the jump back up and be able to kill the Ilaoi, but it's still okay. He gets what he wanted, the flash out, and then he can try and repeat later on.
Oh, waiting in the wings. Hybrid Carry is there. Now the TP from Set as well. Having to TP regardless, so he does to the mid lane to make sure that there is no play to be had and forcing out the flash from his Jinja.
Yeah, really important force. I like the teleport because, like you're saying, he probably was going to use it onto the top lane anyway, but Ilaoi intelligently is freezing the wave, so at least it makes it, the Superfriends are not just falling blindly behind, they are trying to do small things to put the game back in their favor, or into their favor, not back, into their favor by going for plays and aggressive things.
Yeah, selection. Oh, that root will land. It should be decent trade for them, but I do want to point out we did not have too much faith in the mid lane Lucian, but so far doing very, very well for himself. Has over a 10 CS lead and building, so good for him. Now Volibear is on the bot side, both junglers are. We'll see if he does look for something. Trundle is here on Krugs. Can he get there in time? But the damage comes across. The stun is there for 5-man bot. Now burning the flash. He's still alive for now. No! The arrow from downtown. First blood went over to Moki. Trundle is there but cannot help.
Yeah, taking advantage of the fact that there's no heal on the 6, which means that if you're able to get the Braum stun or down to really low health,
that W, if it was in the true damage portion in the center, could have been a kill, but that trade, that fight, and that kick on the bottom side does mean the Drake, first Drake, goes over a mountain. Only 5 minutes in, very, very early, so potentially setting themselves up for a soul win position. That's a lot of damage. Alawi has a lot of confidence here, but she's just walking up way too far. Rare Candy gets himself the solo kill, and
she went forward.
I think she went maybe her monitor was flipped around. She went the wrong direction, but either way, solo kill for Rare Candy.
Yeah, and no teleport now. Zed can push the wave. It's going to crash. Ilaoi will lose much more than just the kill. And really good start by the Zed. We're seeing why this is a contested pick. It's not only the fact that he's winning the lane, but they put the pressure early on to make it so that he could get this early kill. Really well played by the Zed, by Rare Candy. And with this, now top lane, I think you can just let it assist as the Trundle and just bank on going into the middle and into the bottom lane. One of the great things about the Trundle is that even though he doesn't have a gap closer against immobile champions like a Victor, like a Varus to a certain degree, and like the Karma to a certain degree, you get so much value out of your pillar because it doesn't matter if they are able to flash. If you get the slow part before they flash, even if they flash away, they are going to get slowed down, and that means that you can chase down, which I think is a really good potential way to get a couple of picks in the bot lane and in the mid lane.
We'll see if he does look for that. Now he is on his way to the bot side. Scuttle damage in the mid lane. Actually, trade of ultimates, trade of flashes as well. Oh, the culling! That's Boyo does it beautifully. Gets himself a solo kill. This is deja vu. Rare Candy and Best Boyo both getting pairs of solo kills in both games today. This looks like a solo lane difference so far for Ashen Dynasty.
Yeah, and I take it back. Lucian best mid lane in the patch. Certainly. This certainly saves that
must be.
It must be. But really well played by him. Reach level 6, it doesn't matter if they throw away.
Trade of ultimates as well on the top side. That's going to be a lot of damage. That's now finally off-brand Shin with the tentacle slap will get himself the trade 1v1 kill. This is why you gave him last pick, counter pick. Now finally, although he did die at first, able to finally show why they did that.
Yeah, and I think Zed has to wait a little bit longer on the Haymaker. I feel like the Haymaker has to be safe for the ultimate, because if not, that can happen, and then you're going to get insta-killed by Bilal. Really well played by off-brand Heshinshin. I think taking back what he needed to be in a really good spot in the lane, and doing it alone. He didn't need the help of the Vulgar, which is really huge. Jungle going down.
Both junglers are here. His Ginger is waiting in the bush. Now he's able to finally show himself. Now the damage, wow, blown up. And now the ultimate try and chase for more. Braum is taking down to half HP. But with the tower still online, the ultimate not placed there, they are able to escape, just losing the jungler. But still, sitting in that bush, waiting. They had no idea it was there, and the counter engage was beautiful.
Yeah, really well done by the Bolivar, waiting for the Trundle to come by if he doesn't end up coming, or for the wave to keep pushing. And I really like how they played that, because they focused extremely on the Trundle, and on the other side, Ashen instead went into different ways. The Braum and the Ziggs tried to go for the Karma, meanwhile the Trundle tried to go for the Varus, and that made it so that it was much more easy to single him out and then kill him. I really like how the side of Superfriends played that, and after the events of the first two kills that they got on the solo lane, Superfriends has been able to claw themselves back, and it's in a really good spot right now. They have a cold beam, they are pushing waves, and they also have the first trade, which I think it's going to be really important to keep track of moving into the later stage of the game.
Oh, that's a big trade. The damage coming across the stun is there, and the auto hit Gator will get the kill. The ultimate doesn't land, but it doesn't matter. Gator, this Ziggs was so good. He's only played 2 games of it, and both of them he popped off, and now on his third, he's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and really important kill to get the 6. He wasn't really falling behind in terms of CS or anything like that, but the Varus was getting plates, was getting kills, or, well, he didn't get the plate actually, now that I just saw it, but he was getting kills, and he was able to be safe from farming, and it's really important that to keep the Varus ahead, because his build is so cheap that even if he doesn't get kills, he's going to get to his items really quickly. With kills, he gets accelerated, but the 6, it's not the case. He needs these kills to get to his items quickly, because his items are much more expensive. So it's really important that he gets this.
So just to let you know, Gator Crunchy in his games of Ziggs has a combined KDA of 15, 3, and 22. He plays this champion like no one else does, and obviously they paired this with the Lucian as well. Now Trundle trying to set up his Lucian for the damage. The calling is doing so much. Sly will fall. Hybrid carry with a perfect gank to be there where his mid laner needed. Now Gator going to be flash spawned by Ginger. That's a lot of damage. HP coming across from Moki, and Ginger will get the kill. The TP coming across as well. They're trying to trade this back. Red Ginger does have the ultimate with a massive face breaker on the 3, saving the W. Now the ultimate under the tower. He will punch his way to the kill. Can they look for more? 5-man bot.
Trundle is coming.
Now Trundle is on the way. Does he decide to stay? Set canceled his back, but he is on the ward. It looks like Hybrid Carry not confident in looking any further. Where Candy feels like he wants more. As Ginger has stayed. Ginger has stayed, and now Alawi is here as well. They may potentially look for a Braum with the Winter's Bite to try and stall. It looks like they will be able to escape. Now Trundle, don't know if you still want to be here. Your team is now trying to come, but Lucian is here. He does not have the culling, but he still has a lot of damage early in this game. The kill to his name. It's a 2v3 now, but as soon as Rare Candy comes, as soon as 5-man bot comes, it will be a numbers advantage for Ashen Dynasty. Is now they finally pull trigger. The damage comes across the W to stay him alive. Can he live? Yes, he can for now. Finally traded back, but Hybrid has the kill. Hybrid has the trade 2v2.
Oh no, it's
the double. Can they get even one? No, Best Boyo saves his jungler too. They do not die. It's a 3-for-1 for Ashen Dynasty.
Yeah, and everything transpired bot lane, both AD carries go into the top lane. 60 peed there previously before anything in the fight happened after he died, and he just went there to keep pushing the waves. And that turned into a 4v4. I was expecting the Varus to go down and help and then TP top lane, but because he didn't, it was a 4v4 that Ashen can actually fight. They have, like you were saying, Delusion is really strong. He didn't have calling, yes, but he still is able to provide enough consistent damage as an AD carry. And importantly, the Zed was able to regenerate enough health back that he was able to survive long enough that he could actually impact the fight. Really well played by Ashen. They were able to force it as a 4v3. Later the victor comes, but it's way too late. No flash, pillar comes, easy kill, and now Ashen is in a commanding spot. Delusion is really strong. The Trundle is close to his under, which is going to be his main point of power, and they also get the Infernal Drake, which means that each team has a Drake, and that means that they can go for the soul later on. Oh.
Now Ashen Dynasty bot lane trying to look for a play. Varus was able to escape the flash pack, now using ultimate to lock Braum in. I don't really know if there's any outplaying this. He's trying to stall for his team to arrive and actually able to escape now that Red Quaker is here. Lucian was on the way, but Volibear and Victor also in the wings. Means that Moki, with fancy feet, does escape with his life.
Ashen missed everything there. They couldn't get one single bit of CC down or one skill shot down onto the Varus to try and kill him. If they get the one Q from the Braum or one out attack from the Braum or even the satchel charge that missed, it's probably Varus is dead, and then they can turn around to even kill the Karma that was coming back. Because of that, really fancy feed by the Varus, and he's able to survive long enough.
Beautifully done. He does have an even CS. He's close to completing that Duskblade, and he will start to become much more powerful. Wait till Varus hits that 2-item power spike once that tier is stacked, and he can really become a powerful player for Superfriends. But the question really is, can they get there? Because Ashen, everywhere else on the map, feels so strong. This mid jungle 2v2 is just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and I love that you bring that point. For me, it's mainly the mid jungle that has been able to impact so much, because even though Rare Candy got the first solo kill, he's really behind in terms of farm. He can fight against Loud to a certain degree, but it's not that easy. Like, you see that he's getting poked now.
Using the ultimate just to force him out of lane. He already used the W, you said. Just like, hold that thought. 5-man bot is going to be... Oh no, the damage! Varus blows him up, and now the flash away. The TP is here. They're trying to get the CC. 5-man bot will die to the laser, and can we look for even more beautiful play from Moki as he pulls his team through. Now Trundle is here, but they should be able to even push onto this tower.
Yeah, way too over-aggressive on the side of Ashen. They wanted to continue pressuring the turret, but you have a 6, you have to play this as if it's a siege potential, not just a dive, and they will way too far forward.
Best Boyo trying to look for that CS, but now Hybrid Carry, although he was waiting in the wings, the calling, with a lot of damage, Ginger's going to take down pretty low, but the Karma Shield keeping him alive. Very close, but into 2v4, almost getting that outplay, finding themselves the kill, but that will be the disengage. Waiting in the bush. Rare Candy is in a lot of trouble. He has a Face Breaker, still waiting on that W for the damage to come across. But because there's no ultimate, I think if Ashen had the ultimate, that would have been a kill onto Rare Candy. But still forcing out desperately back. He may need to actually wait and use his TP.
Yeah, I think he probably will have to, or they don't need it that much, honestly, because they will take this top lane turn, and I think that's going to be an important win.
Varus ultimate, a lot of damage. Can they get the... No, barely dodging out from the Karma Mantra Q. That would have sealed the deal. That would have been the kill. Best Boyo does escape with his life, and now the jungler is getting themselves the Rift Herald. Remember how powerful you talked about this combo before. Rift Herald, combined with the Satchel Charge, can obliterate the towers.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that combo a little bit before, because I think with the you want to use that with the plates up. That means you get maximum value out of the Herald and the Satchel Charge. Right now it's not bad because it can force turrets down, but I feel you lose effectiveness of the Herald if you're not using it for the plates. But overall, I like the trade that Ashen went for after they lost that fight in the top lane. I think losing this bot lane turn it's not that bad because they got the trade in the top lane, and I think if they are keeping it like this, it's going to be much more beneficial for them. And they still have their mid lane turret, which means that they can protect most of their jungler with this turret up. But no 6 close by yet.
That's a lot of damage onto the Braum. He will go half HP, but they have no more
Breaking
catch.
7.
And that is the Rift Herald being used in the bottom side. Team is here. They can rotate around, but as the tower is falling, they're trying to make their way, but Set is waiting in the wings. Oh, Lucian was pulled trigger on. They did use the flash ultimate from Moki, but he is able to escape his life. That is important because the Drake is still alive. We'll see if they decide to fight this, but Gator is choked out. Does still have the ultimate, does still have TP if he does decide to back, but Alawi is on the side. It looks like Ziggs is landing on back. We'll see if he does TP, but the dragon is slain. Colin cannot catch it as his second Drake going over to Superfriends.
Yeah, I think the idea of the turret is okay if you don't get poked out like the 6 did, because at least there you can move then into the Drake, get vision back, and then be able to force a fight. But they were so out of position, the 6 was so low, and everyone else was forced out that they couldn't force any fight. Super Mega Death Bomb. Oh wait!
Looking at him with the ultimate, trying to get some damage across, but Iron is taken down very low. Can he survive? Subjugate to keep him alive. He will. Best Boyo saves his jungler. Now can they look for the trade? Red Candy getting flashed away from by Red Quaker, but the TP does force out a summoner. Now can they look for anything more? No, they cannot, but they can start to push down the mid lane.
They have a 6. This turret will die if they are able to hit it freely.
And that they will.
Dead, I think.
The tower.
Yeah, that was quick.
Blinked, you might have missed it, and now, I mean, I have to give credit, Super Friends. Look at that vision on the bottom side. So many wards, so many control wards to secure that Drake, but still, Ashen feel very, very strong. Still have themselves a gold lead, although they did just lose that Drake.
Yeah, it's bad that they lose the Drake. I feel like they could have fought it if they prepared better, but it's credit to Super Friends for the vision, because it was consequence or a merit from taking the bot lane turret when they did. They were able to take the bot lane turret. The resets from the side of Ashen were a little bit later in comparison to the resets from Super Friends, and that meant that they had full position to get that vision down and then go into the Drake. So good credit to Super Friends there for being able to get that down and securing the Drake. But then on the mid lane, they committed way too hard. Wait, Pillar.
Barely not being able to get that pillar. If it was just the slightest bit closer to the wall. But the package, the satchel charge, blows Red Quaker back into the team. Gator Crunchy getting himself that kill. And now they have the river control. Alawi is here on the flank. She's going to be the ultimate. That's a lot of damage coming out of these tentacles. It's so much, but can they continue to go any further? No, they can't help her out. Instead, that's himself a solo kill onto the bars, and now Gale Force into the calling. Double kill going over to the Lucian. Best Boyo, best Lucian, best mid. He's the only one left alive. Sly has to defend his face.
Yeah, and it's a really good fight that Ashen fought. First, we saw the Pillar Satchel combo. If one is not enough, the other one will get the kill. Really well used, those two abilities there. And then they are able to move into the river. I really like this because they moved into the river to go with the set so that they can fight against the Lawi that they knew was coming up. Which means that now they are not in a numbers disadvantage and they can fight much more effectively. They single out the Lawi while the set was taking care of two champions. They use the the ultimate from the Trundle to be able to get the damage down onto the Lawi and then kill her. I think really well executed by Ashen, and it's really unlucky that it wasn't the Baron up at that point, because if not, they probably take the Baron as well, and the game just spirals out of control for the side of Ashen.
Absolutely, it's a shame that it happened when it did, but still very much in the driver's seat. Ashen are set to get themselves a 2-0 and go up 2-0 in series as well so far in play-ins. That would be such a great thing to happen for this team. And honestly, they did not have it easy being the 4 seed. They were constantly against the better teams in other groups and really proving themselves so far. And I have to give a lot of credit to Best Boyo. I didn't have faith in this pick.
Yeah.
TDS, you didn't have faith in this pick. I don't know who did, but they certainly did. And credit for them. They had faith in their player, and he is performing really, really well.
Yeah, that's really important. I love that you bring it up. Having faith in your player and giving him the pick that he can comfortably play it, I think can sometimes be much more important than just going for a super OP meta pick or things like that. Like, if he's comfortable, if he's good enough and he can pull it off, I think that makes your team environment and atmosphere much better, and that means that you can play the game in a much comfortable spot. You're now trying to siege the mid lane, but not going to achieve much against the 6. But the Drake positioning is lost now.
I mean, a lot of damage traded. I would honestly be happier getting some damage on Alawi than I would getting it on Braum. I feel like Braum on low HP can still do a lot with his shield, but to counter that, Alawi can of course heal it back up if she does get the damage across. But the mid priority very, very firmly in Ashen's favor. I don't know if there's ever a chance for Superfriends to fight back against that. They just do not have the same wave clear that a Lucian and Ziggs do, and now they walk in S5, and there's not 5 for Superfriends. They do not have the advantage here. That's going to force TP out for Victor. The damage comes across. That's a lot. Hybrid carry very, very low. He still has a subjugate, but he's going to try and heal off the wave. He's going to try and get his HP as high as possible before this fight starts, but if they start Drake now, which they are, is half HP already, he will be too late. He uses his ultimate to try and force it out. Now Set slamming them in. Can he find any more damage? Farther coming in, he uses Drake, but that's 1 kill already. The Culling will find his second, and now can they look any further? The Drake is still alive. They're looking for the Drake. The smite's not there, but they will secure it nonetheless. And that is 2 kills and the Drake, and that one of them is a jungler. They can potentially look for Baron.
Illaoi got bursted out of that team fight. I didn't expect that. As soon as I saw the ultimate coming down, I thought it's over. Superfriends should win this fight, but she got singled out once again and got bursted out. And they actually started that fight in a really bad spot because the Trundle was so low. They had to re-enter into the river completely blind, or blind to a certain degree, and had to fight against the poke from the Varus and the Victor. The thing that I didn't understand in that fight particularly was why didn't they play slowly with the poke from the 6 and the poke from the Lucian that they have in the river, with a Lucian that is so strong and a 6 that was so strong, to try and get a better positioning. But even with all of that, the team fighting from Ashen was so good. They are able to kill the Illaoi, kill the Bolivar, and without a jungler, it's an easy cure of the Drake. They move out of the area without committing to getting much more kills, which I love that because it's not necessary. And they moved into the Baron to secure the much important objective, and now equaling Drakes, but the Baron buff in their favor. They should be able to siege so well from the side of Ashen, and with a 6, they should be able to get much more structures.
Absolutely, and now if they weren't already so firmly in control of this game. And Superfriends, we talked about how early they got that first Drake, that mountain, they got just 15 seconds after it spawned, but Ashen being able to get to their own name means that you don't really have the Ocean Soul as a big win condition forcing pressure onto Ashen. And now, I mean, you look at the team compositions, and with the Lucian in the mid lane with a APC, you have to say that they don't outscale Superfriends, but I don't know if it matters. They feel so in control of this game and so far on the back foot.
I think it can be close by. Oh, okay.
Wow, forcing
double
flash. Both flash out of that. Honestly, I think that Karma's was the only one that was necessary. That she barely flashed out of Set's grasp. But still, 2 big summoners, especially the flash on the Volibear, is so important to get that point-and-click CC. Now, as the poke comes across, it is going to be so hard to withstand the siege.
He's not running out of the Illaoi test of courage, which surprises me, but he's still a Braum. He is able to survive enough damage, and like you're saying, the siege from the side of Ashen is really good. They have the 6, they have the Lucian, they are able to pressure the turret, but a really nice wave clear from Superfriends. They are able to dissuade the push and are able to protect the inner turret. I feel like if Superfriends survives the push without them losing any structure inside of their base, that is going to be a huge win for them, but they still need to be careful.
Yeah, now rotating out to the bot side to get some damage across. So much damage. Sacral Shard will destroy it. And continuing to push the pedal. Now have themselves at a 6k gold advantage as they try and push. That's the pillar forced out, trying to find the catch. But the poke is just so massive. The Ziggs is getting work done. Half HP. They have to send one back to the base to heal. And now the wave clear is good so far. They are able to clear it with these arrows from Varus, but I'm not sure if they're going to withstand it.
They're going away?
It actually looks like they will. They are going to withstand the siege without letting that crack the base.
Yeah, I'm amazed that they were able to survive it, but really well done by Superfriends. Didn't try to force anything, commit anything. They waited their time, wave clear, and are able to dissuade the push. I think this is really ideal, because as long as they don't lose any important structure inside of their base, they are not at risk of getting sideline pushed or anything like that. So I think this is really important for them. And the Drake coming up in 1 minute means that they will still have a fighting chance to come back into this game, or even give it away. Realistically, they are not in any necessity of fighting the Drake, because it's still just the 3rd Drake for Ashen, which means that it's not so. They can just wait, get a little bit more gold, and go for the Baron. But scaling wise, I don't think Superfriends feels that better than Ashen. I think that it's pretty close by. Yes, the Lucian doesn't outscale the Victor, but I think the burst doesn't outscale the 6 either, which means that carry-wise, I think they are pretty close, and tank-wise, I think the Zed can do a better job than the Laui with the Haymaker.
That's a great point. I think if he does use those Haymakers at the peak, very, very conservative on using that W, trying to wait as long as possible, then maybe he can withstand enough damage to really be able to tank. But I would argue that Alawi, with all the healing that she can get, there's 2 Bramble Vests and an Oblivion Orb, so well done by Ashen to itemize to make sure, even though she is 1-4-1, and the Volibear 2-4-3, to respect both of these champions and what they are capable of, buying those items regardless. And honestly, with the heal cut in mind, maybe you're right. Maybe they cannot withstand the siege enough, and in a late game scaling team fight, maybe Ashen still does come out on top.
I feel like they should be able to, but obviously there's a lot of things that can end up happening. There's always that pesky thing called the human error that can just happen and you end up costing the game. Like we saw in the first game, the positioning from the support sometimes just cost teamfights for the side of Superfriends, which were never ideal. So I feel like this time around, there's someone from Ashen may just be misplaced and cost them the game for that. There's always things that can happen, but Ashen should be in a really comfortable spot.
TDS, I'm so sorry, but I don't think Best Boyo is capable of this thing you call human error. I'm not sure if it's a physical human capability for him. He's been kind of perfect.
Well, but who knows? There's until the Nexus explodes, I believe everything. So who knows?
We'll see.
But
we'll
maybe
see. I have faith in him. He has changed my mind on this Lucian mid for sure. He's been having such a great game. But you're right. It's probably fair to wait it out. Getting himself the red buff, and now see if they do look for anything. Common does have the root, but it's not going to land. And honestly, really well done so far by Superfriends to withstand the push. The objectives are starting to spawn. Actually, now it's going to be the fight. That ultimate straight into the back with so much damage on the way. Now she's the ultimate, but she blows up before the tentacles even hit. Lucian finds himself yet another kill, and if the siege wasn't going by now, it certainly is at this point. That charge is all they need left. Oh, it's gonna get a lot of damage. Oh, they're looking for it, but they are going to have to back away. Victor Ultimate doing so much. They're trying to get this inhibitor. They will be able to secure it. And now, potentially forced away. The damage is just too high. But actually rotating to the top side, they are going to use their TP, backing, refilling their HP, and then coming back to continue the siege with their numbers advantage, getting both of these picks. Ziggs will be able to get this tower as well. They get one inhibitor, they get another inhibitor turret. It doesn't look like they will be able to crack this top inhibitor, but they did get the mid, and now they can rotate to Baron.
Yeah, they can move now into Baron. I feel like this is the correct play, taking down the turrets already. Victor is still down. He does have teleport, so they need to be careful about the potential pick from Victor to just trying and joining in. Oh wait, actually, look at Bud.
They are looking for it. Spotted out. He's not going to be able to back. Set is here.
Wait, they're not stopping.
They are not stopping. They are in the base, cracking open the inhibitor. This split pushing, we didn't talk about it, but now finally getting the back. Now Volibear, he's trying to make sure that they cannot back the culling. Oh, it's doing so much damage. Best Boyle saving his base and forcing them out single-handedly. 1v3, he forces them back. They lose an inhibitor. Good play to...
He saved the game.
But now he's going to be able to TP back. they're going to have the Ziggs come back into the Baron, and they could potentially look for this. They're backing. They have to look. Super minions are at their base. So saving the game single-handedly, Best Boyo keeping his team alive, and now
I'm becoming a believer. I'm becoming a believer of Best Boyo. That play, like you're saying, that single-handedly saves the game. He also gives them the opportunity back into the Baron. They get the Baron, they can come back. Yes, they lose the inhibitor, but realistically, who cares? They can push that really easily. And that inhibitor is also the easiest to, it's one of the closest to the Dragon, which is the next objective that is of most importance for the side of Ashen. So it's not like they're not going to go into that place as well. So I don't think they lose that much by Ashen. If they lost the game and that play, then it could have been different, but they didn't. So right now, Ashen is still in a good spot. They had Baron, and if they get a pick, they can win the game pretty easily. Best Boyo.
I really appreciate the attempt. I think they had the right idea to force them off of the Baron, and honestly, it almost worked, but this solution is just so powerful. And now having control of the river, they're going to try and push these waves while they can, but it's still less than a minute until this spawns, and now they could looking for the pick. They're going to try and find the damage across onto the Braum. There's so much, he will be bursted. It's going to get the Ziggs from downtown, finding themselves a trade now set. Pulling the back, that is the team fight engaged, Culling, shredding them apart, and they fall one by one. Super Friends no longer. You only have one. All your friends are dead. They are going to push down the mid lane, and they're going to look for the base.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the power of friendship is good enough to win this game, because right now Ashen just destroys that teamfight. They will keep on pushing and they will be able to finish the game. It looked like they had a really good pick on the Ziggs and on the Braum, but Ziggs runs away. They get on top of the Braum, but who cares? Braum has the shield. He denies so much damage there, and the counter damage from the Ziggs, from the Lucian, from the Trundle, they delete every member for Super Friends, and they just secure the win. Really well played by Ashen at every step of this game.
Absolutely. There was never a point where I doubted what they were able to do. They honestly always felt like they had a good idea of what was going to happen and what they needed to do. Even when, honestly, I think against a lot of teams. I think against, honestly, I would even say most teams in APL, that play would work.
The bot lane play, yeah.
That bot lane play would work. You would be able to make that play work. But they were just so in control and so aware of what they needed to do.
Yeah, and also the Lucian was so far ahead. I think that if it's another member, maybe they can collapse on him and kill him. But the Lucian was, the ultimate there was easy to pull out, and nobody protected the minions. But realistically, nobody could, because if they stood in front of the minions, they get insta-killed by the Lucian calling. So it's not like they have another choice apart from backing from there. And I think it's really important. It was a mix of conditions. The fact that Ashen were so far ahead, and also that the Lucian was so far ahead, I think was really important at that point. And that made it so that even though the play would look good otherwise, they were able to dissuade it and then be able to get the advantages to win the game.
I think that's really heads-on play from the mid laner to know that he's the only one that can do that. That if the Ziggs was there, maybe he has the wave clear, but they can just look to try and kill him. But you can't really do that against Lucian with the flash, with the Gale Force, and having that culling damage. Played it exactly how he needed to. I think there's no other way to play that and be able to come out with your base alive and with the Baron as well.
Yeah, super well played by Best Boyo. I think not only this game, but in the whole series, I think he played phenomenally. He executed really well in both games. He made me a believer of the Lucian mid. Maybe it is not that bad. I'm going to believe in him from now on. And I think he close to carried the game single-handedly. I do gotta say that the jungle from the side of Ashen performed really well as well, and he also had merit in their huge advantage early on. But the Lucian just felt so oppressive that it seemed like he could do anything in this game.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there was ever a player, except for maybe 5-man bots game 1. But even then, it looked very, very comfortable in game 2. I feel like this was a 5-man effort, a very, very strong 2-0, a very incredible showing for this team. And now they're 2-0 up in play-ins. That's so good for them.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to keep stacking these wins, because now with the 2-0 leeway, even if you lose 1 or 2, you at least still have that 2 victory comfort that it's not going to be that bad to have. Obviously, losing, it's not the end of the world for the side of Super Friends. They can bounce back, but I feel like they played really well. They had really good moments, like the base attempt in the second game, or in the first game, the picks that they had on the sideline. But they need to change a couple of things in their drafting to try and make much more power there, and to get much and to try and put themselves in a much more comfortable spot in the games to be able to win later on. But overall, really great series, really well played by Ashen, and fully deserved the win.
Absolutely. Credit to you guys. Congratulations on the win. That will be it for me and TDS on the desk. Thank you guys so much for watching play-ins week 2 for APL. Stay tuned for week 3. We will be back here. But thank you guys again so much for watching.